Hey everyone, welcome to this next video on Sagittarius. Today we're going to talk about what this sign means in the natal chart, if you've got any planets in Sagittarius, as well as which houses are associated with this sign. So with the signs, again, these are the qualities and characteristics that come through life through a certain perspective. Right, so we're going to talk about this perspective of Sagittarius and then what qualities and characteristics come as a result of this. So if you've got your sun, for example, in Sagittarius, it's through this focus of life, this area of life, this perspective that these qualities come through. And you can do this for any planet, and you can also do this for the areas, which are the houses in the natal chart. All right, so Sagittarius essentially coming after Ophiuchus and Scorpio. Those two were very much about transformation. And as the journey goes, through Ophiuchus, we went over that galactic center. And as we go over that galactic center, there's transformation, there's change. And Sagittarius is essentially the result of that change, what happens after we transform. So if you can imagine, after we transform, it's very freeing, right? This is, again, the analogy of the butterfly after the cocoon effect, right? We're lighter, we're freer. We have that top-down perspective, as in flight. So that's a big part of what Sagittarius is that top-down perspectives and really exploring what life is about, exploring life, seeing things in this new way, and really asking yourself, what is the purpose of life? What is the meaning? Because life isn't, of course, just to transform. That's just a means to the journey, or a part of the journey. Now, in this part, after the transformation, we have a greater perspective. We have that top-down perspective, and through that naturally comes these qualities of Sagittarius. So there are things like optimism, okay? Because when we know the bigger picture and we see how everything fits together, we know that it's all part of a divine plan, if you will, or it's all part of this bigger picture. And it's through that bigger picture we don't get so caught up into the details. Gemini, which is the sign opposite Sagittarius, is all about the meticulous details, the practical understandings. How can we take this optimism or these possibilities with Sagittarius and actually apply them? So if you do have a lot of Sagittarius in your chart, it is good to balance that with the more practical side of things, which is Gemini. And if you do have a lot of Gemini, that practical rational learning, it does help to see things a bit more optimistically and really see, again, what's possible. So that's the optimistic side of it, very freedom loving, as you might imagine, because this is the sign where we have to have those open horizons. We have to see the future. We have to see what's unfolding without any of those ceilings. And in that way, that's what creates a lot of this liberating, freedom-loving sort of energy there. Very purposeful is another thing. Sagittarius is the centaur, and the centaur is shooting that bow and arrow, so it's very direct, very purposeful. This is the sign about the life path in terms of once we have that overarching perspective, we understand our purpose, we understand our life path, and we're very direct and very intent on it. Remember, this is a fire sign, so it's all about that inspiration, that purpose, that excitement about our life path and really pursuing it. It's an active sign, which is masculine, fire, actively pursuing that life path. And one thing I want to mention too about Sagittarius is that the constellation is a centaur, and the centaur is essentially a lower animal, which is the horse, and then the upper part is the human, right, or the god aspect of the self, which is the centaur is a god. So the key with this is that the lower half is the earthly side, and if you remember from Ophiuchus and Scorpio, this is where we embraced the lower qualities of self. So the centaur has merged, has embodied, has become one with his lower self or his human self, and that's what the centaur represents, and that's the freedom of the horse, of the open range, once we have that transformation. So very adventurous, very philosophical, and very open-minded. These are all qualities of Sagittarius. So that's Sag in a nutshell. It's mutable. It's another element of this. It's all about change. So when we do approach life in this perspective, we do have more malleability. We're more adaptive, and the other areas of our life are that much more adaptive also. It is ruled by Jupiter, so if you want more information on this, you can see where Jupiter's placed in your natal chart, and it is associated with that 9th house. All right, so I hope you guys have a good one. Hope this helped. If you have any questions, please comment down below, and I'll see you guys all next time.